Now, breaking the silence around mental health is not just about talking, it's about healing together. When we open up, we give ourselves and our families the gift of healing. We show up as our authentic selves, vulnerable, imperfect, and real. Hey everyone, welcome back to A Talk with G, the podcast where we explore ancient wisdom, modern wellness, and everything in between. I'm your host, Gia, and today we're diving into a topic that's finally starting to get the attention it deserves, but still feels like a bit of a taboo: the stigma around anxiety and depression in families and society. More specifically, how can we break the silence once and for all? Let's be real. Mental health struggles like anxiety and depression are being recognized more than ever, and the world is starting to give these challenges the ground they deserve. But even now, when you admit that you're struggling with your mental health, it still feels like you're taking a risk. It feels like there's an invisible wall between you and the people you love, especially within families. A wall that keeps us from connecting and fully understanding each other. Today, we're going to explore why that wall exists, why is it so important to tear down, and how Ayurveda can offer a compassionate, holistic path to healing, one that honors the mind and body connection and nurtures our emotional needs. If you've ever felt isolated or judged in your mental health journey, or if you hesitated to speak up because you're afraid of the rejection, you're not alone, and this episode is for you. It's time to break the silence together. Let's get started. Let's talk about why mental health remains such a taboo, especially within families. Many of us were raised with the message to keep it together, to hide our vulnerabilities, and to push those feelings of anxiety, sadness, or fear. I remember being as young as possible and being told that you cannot cry in front of anyone. For some families, the idea of even talking about a mental health issue was out of the question. It was an unspoken rule. We don't discuss this. If you've ever felt like your mental health struggles were a dirty little secret that you couldn't share, you're not alone. In many cultures, speaking about these important setbacks or important issues are seen as shameful weaknesses, something that threatens the family's reputation, honor, and strength. The fear of being judged or misunderstood is beyond real. For some, there's also the terrifying thought that if you speak about it, you'll bring down the family's reputation, or worse, you'll be labeled as weak or broken. And what's even more painful is the fear of being misunderstood. What if your family doesn't believe in mental health struggles? What if they dismiss your feeling by telling you to snap out of it, or it's all in your head, or get back out there, everything will be fine after that? These words, though often well intentioned, only deepen the emotional divide and leave you feeling more isolated. So, why does the silence continue to persist? It's because we've been conditioned to suppress our emotions in favor of keeping up appearances. In many cultures and families, mental health struggles are still viewed as a personal failure or weakness, and the stigma around it prevents people from reaching out for help that they desperately need. The silence continues because vulnerability has been equated with shame. So, what happens when we keep mental health struggles locked away in silence? Here's the reality: silence does not heal, it only allows the wound to fester. For those living with anxiety or depression, remaining silent only deepens the isolation and can plant the seeds of shame that grow over time. When we don't openly talk about our mental health, we miss out on the healing power of connection. Imagine what life could be like if we normalize conversations around mental health, if families could discuss anxiety, depression, and stress without shame or fear. If we weren't afraid to say, I'm struggling, I need support, I need to talk to someone. Think of the relief that would bring not only for us, but everyone who's silently suffering in the same way. And many people will be like, oh, I'm going to talk, but they're going to be judgmental. Think of having that conversation where there is no judgment. The deeper cost of silence, however, is how mental health struggles manifests in our lives. Emotional pain does not stay locked in the mind. It seeps into the body. Anxiety shows up as physical tension, restlessness, and fatigue. Depression can drain your energy and make it harder to connect with loved ones, or even taking care of yourself becomes an impossible task. These struggles take a toll on every part of your life, and if left unaddressed, they can impact your physical health too. In Ayurveda, we understand that the mind and body are interconnected. Emotional wounds, if left unhealed, begin to show up as a physical imbalancement. That is why it's so crucial to address mental health openly, because ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It simply makes the suffering worse over time. And while it's in your emotional or mental state, you can start to heal it rather than let it take over your physical aspect and not know where these physical unbalancements show up from. It's never too late to start breaking the silence. Yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's absolutely worth it. We can begin dismantling the stigma one conversation at a time. The first step in breaking the silence is to reframe how we view mental health. It's not a weakness, it's not a failure, it's a part of being human. Whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, or any other emotional challenge, your feelings are valid. Your mental well being is just as important as your physical health, and you deserve the support you need. If you start thinking about having a conversation with a loved one, here are some simple but powerful ways to start. Start small, start honest. You do not have to unload everything at once. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately, and I can use someone to talk to. Starting with a small vulnerability can encourage others to open up too. Create a safe space. Make sure the conversation is calm, non judgmental, and centered around mutual support, not fixing anything. Let your family know that you're sharing because you need to be heard, not because you need them to solve your problem. Share resources. If your family does not fully understand mental health, share some resources with them, whether it's articles, books, podcasts. Help them understand that seeking help, whether through therapy, through or Ayurveda, is a sign of strength, not weakness. Be patient. Changing deep-rooted beliefs and cultural norms takes time. If your family doesn't fully understand right away, that's okay. What matters is that you've taken the first step to open up and you've begun the process of healing. And this one is going to go completely off record more personally. They might not get it, and that's okay. They may never understand where you're coming from, and that is okay. If you are able to say out loud, I am feeling overwhelmed. I am having a day. I am just not my true authentic self today. That is okay. Letting them know, hey, I can't be 100% with you, and you don't have to share because you know deep down they're not ready to get all of it. The fact that you spoke up means so much more. Instead of putting on a mask and acting like everything is okay and you can push through whatever they're asking you to, you've just taken off a layer that does not need to be there. So give yourself grace in this process. So, what can Ayurveda offer in terms of healing or beginning to heal anxiety and depression, especially when mental health is taboo within your family? Ayurveda sees health as a balance of mind, body, and spirit. And this includes the way we process and communicate our emotions. Here are a few Ayurvedic practices that can support you on your healing journey. Emotional balances with doshas. I've gone over this previously and I will always go over this. Understanding your doshas, whether vata, pitta, or kapha, can help identify not only your physical imbalancement, but your emotional imbalancement and guide your healing. For example, Vata imbalancements are anxiety, benefiting from grounding practices and calming breathing exercises. Kapha imbalancements show a sign of depression and may thrive with more physical movement, uplifting surroundings, mental exercises to increase the energy and motivation. Healing the nervous system. Stress is often the root cause of emotional imbalancement. Ayurveda teaches us to nourish and calm the nervous system through practices like meditation, herbal remedies, and daily routine. Herbs like ashwagandha and shatavari can help ease anxiety and stress while promoting emotional balance. Aromatherapy for emotional support. Essential oils such as lavender, sandalwood, and rose have a calming effect on the body, mind, and spirit. Using these oils through diffusers or massages can help reduce anxiety and bring emotional balance. The healing power of sound. The power of sound is healing the emotional body. Whether you're listening to calming music, chanting mantras, singing, sound has the power to release pent up emotion and reduce anxiety. I've given you a few tips there, but the most important one is noticing when you need the help. When you recognize that something feels off balance, don't try and brush it away because you're afraid that it's going to take over. Don't try and sweep it under the rug because it's going to come back out and it's going to come out bigger. You owe it to yourself to be honest with yourself and notice when you need to stop, take a break, and seek help, even if you're doing it alone to start. Now, breaking the silence around mental health is not just about talking, it's about healing together. When we open up, we give ourselves and our families the gift of healing. We show up as our authentic selves, vulnerable, imperfect, and real. And I invite all of you to do the same. Maybe you're not the one who's having any of these symptoms or mental health struggles, but I invite you to make others feel safe to open up to you. Healing is a journey, and it's okay to take one step at a time. Ayurveda can be a powerful ally in this process, helping us restore balance, nurture our bodies, and calm our minds to reconnect with our true essence. But most importantly, it reminds us that healing does not have to be solitary. This journey, we can hold hands, whether it's with a therapist, with a life coach, with a friend, with a stranger who's going through something similar. But we can all heal together. If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to dive deeper into how you can get the support you need, how you can break the silence and start healing, head over to my website, www.soul-sinks.com to learn more about working with me. Let's embark on this healing journey together. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I want you to remember that healing doesn't need to happen in silence. Start the conversation, seek the support, and know that you are never alone in this journey. If you found today's episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need it. Until next time, take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit.